Since the end of the Cold War, the phenomenon of forced displacement has gained more global attention. The most notable groups of concern among displaced people are the refugees, those who are forced to leave their home countries because of war, ethnic violence, or other forms of persecution, and the internally displaced persons, the IDPs, those who are forced to leave their homes but stay within their country's borders. The plight of these refugees and internally displaced persons remains a global crisis. Refugees face many challenges, and the situation exposes them to some vulnerabilities. When they leave their homes, they leave behind friends and families, jobs, and most of the things they own. Every aspect of their lives is altered. The trip can be very dangerous, especially if their country is at war, and the places they end up staying might not be much better off than the places they left. Refugees mostly rely on aid groups to provide for their daily needs, even if it will take months or even years to return to their homes. According to the UN Refugee Agency, the United Nations Human Rights Council, in November 2018, about 68.5 million people around the world were forced out of their homes. Among them are nearly 25.4 refugees, over half of whom are under the age of 18. Over two-thirds of these refugees come from just 5 countries: Syria, Afghanistan, South Sudan, Myanmar, and Somalia. The situation in South Sudan is dire because they have the largest refugee crisis in Africa. Since 2009, the Boko Haram insurgency and the counter-insurgency by the Nigerian security forces turned the northeast of the West African country to a conflict zone. The crisis has forced more than 2 million people to flee for safety within Nigeria as internally displaced persons, while many crossed the borders into neighboring countries in the Lake Chad region as refugees. Nigeria became the country with the highest number of internally displaced persons, IDPs, in sub-Saharan Africa, according to a 2017 report of the Norwegian Refugee Council. The Displacement Tracking Metrics 2018 revealed that women and children formed 79% of the IDP's population, and children under 5 years account for 28%. In the same vein, the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs further revealed that the IDPs in northeast Nigeria are in desperate need of life-saving assistance, such as good nutrition, healthcare, shelter, non-food items, potable water, and improved sanitation and hygiene condition. Also, the education of young IDPs has been hampered. IDPs also suffer from some protection issues such as child and gender-based violence, among others. They face severe food insecurity and nutrition problems with global acute malnutrition, according to the World Health Organization. But behind these statistics are people filled with unique life experiences and dreams for the future. Mothers longing to return home, fathers yearning to work again, children searching for a childhood. But the humanitarian support is still largely underfunded. As of September 2018, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and its partners received just 31% of the funds needed to provide basic assistance to millions of Syrian refugees and displaced people. It is time for action. If nothing is done to mitigate the crisis, the world will be faced with severe consequences in the coming years. Giving aid or humanitarian contribution is not a sustainable way to reduce the growing number of people around the world. World leaders must rally round to prevent and resolve conflicts that push people out of their homes in the first place. We all must act based on common interest and universal aspiration for security. Peace in any one of the countries affected will create the conditions for people to return home and reduce the numbers of refugees worldwide by millions. In democracies, We as voters should challenge our politicians to answer how their policies address the root of our problems. The plight of displaced persons is a test, and our response to these will be the measure of our humanity.